When I first started studying Korean, I remember hearing about some of the superstitions that Koreans had. Did you know that if you sleep in a closed room with a fan on, that you'll die? Okay, so everyone's already heard about the fan death superstition before, so I don't want to talk about that. I want to focus more on Korea's traditional superstitions. Now, of course, some of these superstitions might sound a bit ridiculous, but take a step back and think about some of your own country's superstitions, and they might not sound so strange after all. And also, since these are traditional superstitions, it's not common to find people who still believe them, but it is common to find people who still know about them. So let's get started. Are you tired of waiting around for a shooting star? In Korea, all you need is a full moon when you want to make a wish. In American superstitions, the full moon is associated with going crazy, and the word lunatic is actually from the Latin word for moon. But in Korea, full moons traditionally have a much better image. Of course, it's probably not a good idea to play with fire at night, but traditionally in Korea, before there were fire stations and 911, a single fire could cause a lot of damage. So parents would tell their children that if they played with fire after dark, that they'd wet their bed while sleeping. And this would discourage children from playing with fire because they didn't want to wet the bed. So if your Korean child was a pyromaniac, just make sure that they burn stuff down during the daytime. This is a superstition that's also shared with China and Japan. The number 4 is associated with death. This is because the number 4 written in Chinese is pronounced sa. And also the character for death in Chinese is also pronounced sa. And the words for 4 and death also have similar sounds as each other in both Chinese and Japanese. So because of this, the number 4 is often just avoided in Korea. Knocking on a door 4 times is bad luck, and also in Korea, many elevators will have an F instead of a 4 on the buttons. Personally though, I don't believe this one at all. It's another superstition that whistling at night causes snakes to appear. This superstition was probably just created because Korean people hate whistling. Even today, many older Koreans strongly dislike the sound of whistling. Now in America, whistling is generally associated with being carefree and happy, but in Korea you might want to avoid doing it. And this superstition can vary depending on where you are in Korea. While some people might believe that whistling will cause snakes to appear, other people might believe that whistling will cause ghosts to appear, but not ghost snakes. If you clip your nails, don't just throw them out anywhere. If you do, it'll attract mice, which will come and eat your nail clippings. Sounds reasonable, right? And then the mice will transform into a doppelganger of you. But I wouldn't worry about this if I were you. After all, you can just wait until it's dark and then whistle in some snakes to eat the mice. This superstition is also shared with China and Japan. It's bad luck to write a person's name in red. Traditionally, a person's name is only written in red when they've died, on a tombstone for example. And the color red signifies blood and death, so it shouldn't be used to write a person's name. And if you do write a person's name in red, it means that you hope that they'll die soon. So Koreans who study in the United States are often shocked to find out that teachers write everything using red pens, including people's names. Sitting down and shaking your leg is one way to get bad luck, and Koreans believe that when you shake your leg, you're actually shaking away your luck. And actually, while this is an older superstition, shaking your leg is still frowned upon in Korea. Even if nobody tells you to stop doing it, if you are, you're going to be losing points with Koreans. This superstition says that if you eat and then lie down right away, you'll turn into a cow. Not fat like a cow, but the actual animal, a cow. Yeah, this superstition was likely made to encourage children not to sleep immediately after eating. Come on, a cow? Who's gonna believe that? Am I right, Keycat? Many Koreans used to believe that if you touch a butterfly or a moth and then touch your eye, that it could damage your vision. Or worse, that you could go blind. Now, this superstition's not that unreasonable. Touching your eyes can spread bacteria and viruses. And getting an eye disease could lead to more problems, especially before antibiotics and modern medicine. So it's possible that this superstition was made as a result of someone getting an eye disease, in which case it's probably good that it stayed around for so long. It's bad luck to hold your chopsticks and spoon together in the same hand. Generally, when eating Korean food, you'll use either chopsticks or a spoon one at a time. But if you're lazy and didn't want to put one of them down, you could hold them both together in the same hand. Like some of the other superstitions, this one was probably made by parents trying to correct the bad table manners of their children. So pretty much, if you don't like what someone else is doing, make up a superstition about it and say it'll bring them bad luck. 뭐라고? 실내에서 모자를 쓰면 나쁜 일이 생긴다고? 에이, 그게 무슨 소리야? And that's the end of this episode. Feel free to send me your own questions and I might feature them in the next video. And remember that new videos are posted here every week, so click subscribe and follow along. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. 잠깐만. 내 지갑이 어디 갔지? 키캣, 내 지갑 봤어? 아, 뭐야? 의자가 왜 여기 있어? 아, 어떡해. Did you know that Korea calculates age differently than other countries? If you could somehow continue to see yourself improving, then your motivation would stay. So you want to make sure that you have a good reason for taking the time to learn Korean.